What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Cornelia, back with another episode of Black News, a podcast where we break down current events, hot topics, and local stories involving Black people. Now let's get into it. Why every time you got something to do, people decide that's when they want to be loud? Why is it whenever you got something to do, whenever it's supposed quiet on the set, whenever it's supposed to be quiet on the set, that's when everybody decide that they want to make the noise? If y'all hear what sounds like a machine gun in the background, it's because my neighbor decided that now he want to play the game. Okay, he want to get on the game. He want to play the game and he want to be loud. So if he is listening to this, he probably not. I don't know that person. Yeah, now you want to play. Oh, now you want to play the game. Y'all, now he want to play the game. I just set the purpose that in case y'all hear just some random noise in the background. Y'all, I just can't take it. I am tired. Okay. I'm tired and I'm starting the podcast off that way. Thank you so much. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Black News. Low key, it's a slow news week. I was scraping to find these topics, and most of them won't even be worth having full on conversations about, but it's just things that are going on that I can elaborate on quickly and move on. Okay. It is a slow news week, which I'm not upset about because a busy news week usually means some drama, some hardships, pain and suffering. That's what 2025 has been in the new space. So, maybe it's not all bad. But with that, let me start off by saying this past week was the Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated National Convention. I did not attend. Okay. I do know people who attended. I had line sisters who attended. I had friends who attended. But I did not go to the East Coast. I am trying to limit my travel. And now that I am going to Vegas for Beyonce, because I told y'all before, I bought tickets to Vegas thinking, oh, I will just resell them if I find me an LA ticket, a same ticket in LA. Well, because it's a VIP ticket, you got to give blood to sell the ticket. So guess who's going to Vegas now? No shade, because I love me some Beyonce, but I thought I was going to get my little money back. So I'm not. So because I'm going to Vegas now, other trips that I thought I was going to go on, they got put to the side. I'm probably not going to be doing all that. So I definitely would not have made it to the East Coast for anything. Okay. For nothing. But I bring this up because in case y'all missed it, most sororities and fraternities, and I say most because not all, have or announce their honorary members during the national convention. Some fraternities specifically don't do honorary. And I did not know this until one of my homegirls told me this, maybe like last year. There are some frats that don't do honorary. I think all of the sororities do. But what it essentially is opportunity to initiate women into the organization who are pillars in their community, to tastemakers, activists, entertainers, you name it, people who uphold the legacy, the standards, the pillars of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, who are not members, who did not or not initiated in a undergraduate, or alumni chapter, but were initiated this way. And y'all remember last time, Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown was the honorary member. So we got some heavy hitters. We be coming with the big dogs. I ain't gonna even hold you. It be Big Dog City. Joy Ann Reed was one last year, but this year they were announced. And I just want to announce these because, again, this is a damn good list, if I do say so myself. So first we got Donna Brazile. Now, if somebody tweeted this, I thought Donna Brazile was already a Delta. Maybe it was just the political activism, but she was giving off, I crossed at an HBCU in the South in the 1980s. Like, she was giving that, okay? Donna Brazile was out here looking like she crossed and politicking and moving like she crossed above ground. Back when they used to have to carry the ducks on the yard. That was before. Okay, that was before. Okay, that was then. When they had the raincoats, they listen. So when I saw her on the list, I was like, oh. Yo, I thought she was already in it. But Donna Brazile is, if you remember from back then, she was one of the people managing Al Gore's 2000 presidential campaign. It was the first time a black woman led a major party's nominees bid for the White House. She served as interim chair of the Democratic National Convention twice, taught at Georgetown and Howard University, and continues to shape the national conversation as a trusted voice on political television. So, okay. So, all right. Great. Fantastic. Love Donna. Next, Danielle Brooks, who I love, a fellow thespian woman in the arts. Danielle Brooks, as you know, she got her start, her breakout role, I will say, as Tasty in Orange is the New Black. She is a Juilliard trained, and she has been Oscar nominated for her performance in The Color Purple. And also she had a Tony nomination, multiple NAACP awards nominations, and so on. And one thing is that's always interesting is when honorary members are announced, a lot of times the people who are being initiated, they talk about how members of the organization influenced them, how they weren't able to pledge in undergrad or at other points in time, which is often the case. It's almost God and luck for everything to align for you to be able to be a part of any organization, a part of the Divine Nine on any campus. I would even say it's harder at an HBCU, but for some PWIs, some they don't even have chapters, or you just never know, right? The chapter could be suspended. They could not have a chapter. It could be a citywide chapter with the alumni chapter don't want to bring over no new girls. It's just always something. So when I saw that she was like, oh, I was always interested, I wasn't surprised because that's often the case. Next, y'all, Queen Latifah. Y'all listen, this is just a perfect fit, isn't it? It's just a perfect fit. Y'all know Queen Latifah, okay? Dana, okay? The legendary Queen Latifah UNITY. Side note, they done made up a stroll. As soon as her name was announced, they done made up a stroll to UNITY. Now we about to be out here strolling, okay? It's a lot because I'm old now. Somebody gonna throw their back out. It ain't gonna be me. I'm just saying. But Queen Latifah doesn't need any introduction, but I'll, say a few things. Grammy, Emmy, Golden Globe winner, first female rapper to win first female rapper with a gold certified solo album, Oscar nominated. Next is Fawn Weaver. Fawn Weaver is one of the co-founders of the fastest growing American whiskey brand, Uncle Nearest. We all know Uncle Nearest. In case you don't, Jack Daniels, come to find out, Nearest Green was an enslaved man who taught Jack Daniels how to distill. Hey, not surprising to any of us. When we found that out, wasn't surprised. But Fawn Weaver is one of the people behind building out the Uncle Nearest whiskey brand and making it what it is today. So she's been doing fantastic work and just building that brand from the ground up for quite a few years. So I'm just a fan of her work in the business sense anyway. So just hearing her announce, it was just, icing on the cake. Next, Janice Bryant. Wait, I can't see you. I gotta put my glasses on. Janice Bryant Howard. I don't know if I'm pronouncing her last name, right. It's spelled Howryd. Howroyd, affectionately known as JBH. She is the first Black woman to own and operate a billion-dollar company. She is a philanthropist, a leader. She has leadership roles at institutions like Harvard's Kennedy School and so on. Then the legendary Jackie Joyner Kersee. We know Jackie Joyner Kersee. If you are a track and field girly, track and field fan, you know Jackie Joyner was legendary for her athleticism around and through the 1980s. She won the heptathlon in '88, and her world record remains unbroken in that particular event. And then lastly, no, it's a couple more. Swin Cash. Swin Cash is three-time WNBA champion, two-time Olympic gold medalist, and one of the league's top 20 most influential players. I've been a fan of Swin for a while. And again, she was another person who was saying that during her collegiate time, it just didn't work out for her to be able to try to join the org. So I'm happy for her that she got this opportunity now and was able to everything for just everything to align. Then Tony Towns Whitley is the current CEO of SAIC, a $7.4 billion tech and engineering firm. Listen, big dog city. Okay. Congratulations to them. And I'm looking forward to seeing the work that they are continuing to do. But in addition to that, at the Alpha Kappa Alpha Leadership Conference this past weekend, they announced their newest honorary members. So, let me go ahead and announce the Stinky Pinkies and see what they talking about. I love, listen, all of my AKA homegirls know I affectionately call them the Stinky Pinkies. And they have nicknames for deltas as well. But it's just all fun and giggles with that. But for the women of Alpha Kappa Alpha, excuse me, they initiated as honorary members this year Laura Coates. She is CNN's chief legal analyst and anchor, breaking barriers as the first African American woman in the role. Corinne Jean Pierre. She was, and if y'all know her, she was the press secretary for the White House during the Biden administration. The legendary Beverly Johnson, supermodel and entrepreneur, made history as the first Black woman on the cover of Vogue magazine. And Gabby Thomas, the Olympic gold medalist and the first Ivy League graduate to win an Olympic track and field medal. She won for the 200, the 100 relay, and she won, I think, maybe for one more this past Olympics in Paris. Overall, again, great list. Congratulations to all of those ladies. And again, that's just a good, it's just a good, I'm sure it's just a really good feeling for them that whether this was something they were aspiring to do or not, that they are now part of these wonderful sisterhoods. So let me know your thoughts about these. If you're listening and you went to convention, let me know how it was. Child, I heard I was down there cutting up. Let me know though. Let me know your thoughts. You can find me at Cornelia on social media. So the 2025 Emmy nominations have been announced. Yeah, no, I really enjoy award season. I have though grown over the years in a way where I know what to expect. I'm never surprised, but I'm supportive of people that I am a fan of in their endeavors and quest towards getting awards, right? Because I know it is a big deal as far as awards can do a lot to affect your bottom line, right? They can affect the kind of roles that you get, the kind of money um that you demand. And so they are a big deal depending on what part of the industry you are from. And it's good to be acknowledged for your work. But y'all know I'm Issa Rae in this. I'm root for everybody Black. And this year, there have been a few Black people nominated for Emmys, which I feel like it's like every other year. Every other year, it'd be like no Black people, then hella Black people, then no Black people, then hella Black people. And even between those years, that don't mean everybody gonna win. That do not mean everybody gonna win. But I'm gonna read off the Black nominees. I haven't watched most of this because I am behind on my television. Okay, I'm behind. But for the sake of celebration, I will read through these because it's a pretty full list. Bear with me. And if I'm messing these names up, y'all sorry. Y'all know y'all know I be talking about how people can't read, but baby, I be struggling. Okay, y'all know this. Hey, my heart is in the right place. Okay, it's my heart. Okay, my heart. Okay. 2025 Black Emmy nominees. And I'm grabbing this off somebody who posted on social media. And people don't be researching stuff. Some of this, y'all say some of this ain't right. It's they fault. Okay. Coleman Domingo nominated for his role in 4 seasons. That show was super entertaining. Did you watch that? It was on Netflix. It's a show about older couples, Tina Fey, Steve Carell, Coleman Domingo, hilarious cast, but it follows them. It's a remake, and it follows them going on friend trips throughout the 4 seasons: summer, winter, spring, and fall. It is really good, and Coleman Domingo is so funny in that. He was so good in that. So he was nominated for that role. Shout out to him. Natasha Rothwell, White Lotus. I still haven't watched that. I watched Sterling K. Brown in Paradise, who's nominated. Okay, Sterling Kelvin Brown, who did his thing. Uzo Aduba and the Residents. I haven't seen that either. Brian Tyree Henry for Dope Thief. I heard really good things about that show. I think it's on Apple TV. Y'all know Apple TV don't promote none of their stuff. Apple TV be having the best shows and don't do no promotion. I feel like Apple in their budget, their annual budget, they put zero for marketing, put a gazillion dollars for television and movie production, and just shrug their shoulder and put a shoulder shrug emoji in marketing because next to the zero, because they ain't gonna promote it. They just not gonna promote nothing. I heard Dope Thief was good though. Quinta Brunson nominated for Abbott Elementary. Tramel Tillman for Severance. I tried to watch Severance. I just couldn't. Io Edebiri for The Bear. She won before, so shout out to her for being a nominee again. Rashida Jones, Black Mirror. Ashley Walters, Adolescent. Ruth Nega for Presumed Innocent. Zach Cherry, Severance. Janelle James, Abbott Elementary. Shirley Ralph, Abbott Elementary. Jessica Williams, Shrinking. Y'all know Abbott Elementary actors gonna get nominated. That's a good show. Giancarlo Esposito, The Boys. I don't think Giancarlo has won for anything. Correct me if I'm wrong. Even that Breaking Bad run, y'all, he didn't win for Gus Fring, which was crazy. That was crazy because and that's Breaking Bad Gus Fring and Better Call Saul Gus Fring. That's crazy. But Better Call Saul, I don't think they won anything at all, which, y'all, don't get me started. Forrest Whitaker for Andor, Anthony Mackie for The Studio, Jeffrey Wright, Last of Us, Zoe Kravitz, The Studio, Cynthia Erivo, Poker Face, Natalie Emmanuel, Die Hard, Heart to Kill, Kevin Hart, Die Hard, Heart to Kill, Beyonce for Netflix, Beyonce Bowl, Kendrick Lamar, 2025 Apple Music Super Bowl halftime show, Maya Rudolph, Big Mouth, and Jeffrey Wright again for What If, 1878. That's a pretty good list. Predictions, I don't got none because as someone who is a member of a voting body, I can tell y'all, people don't be watching the shows and voting that way. You literally get 30 some screen. Like, you get so much content to watch. I will say, I do know an older couple that I used to work with. An older woman and her husband was in one of the unions, one of the guilds. They watched everything. They will watch literally everything. That was the only, well, I take that back because 1 year Beast of No Nation came out and they ain't watch that. They ain't watch that. But that was the only person, like couple or person that I've ever met. And I know a lot of people in different unions and guilds who watch everything. Y'all, people don't be watching everything. So in the case of like TV and movie, I think people just be voting for their friends. Like, yeah, I don't know. Who knows? I don't have any predictions though. I am just going to say congratulations to all the nominees. I will be tuning in. I'm not sure when the Emmys air. It's usually sometime in the summer, maybe like September-ish. Who knows? But I'll be locked in to see if people who are in the shows that I watched will take it home. I'm especially rooting for Sterling K. Brown because that brother be doing his thing. He already has one for The People versus OJ, I believe. And maybe one other time He might have too. Sterling be doing his thing. I hope you win again. But let me know your thoughts about it. Yeah, let me know. You can find me who you rooting for, and if you have any predictions, you can find me at Kenelia on social media. The Red Lobster CEO heard what I said, and he got back in the lab. Yo, bro said, I got you. Okay, he listened to Black News. Y'all, he ain't listen to Black News. He listened to Black News. He don't even know what Black News is. He listened to Black News and was like, Cornelia, say less. And he got in the lab. They got in the boardroom. Okay, they hopped on Zoom. They scheduled the Zooming. They activated the waiting room so they ain't, and people just didn't join and bust in the meeting. You got to be let in. Okay. He activated the waiting room and mute upon entry. That way you ain't all loud and banging pots and pans on when you join the Zoom. Okay. Camera off. Okay. They sent out the Zoom invite to the team, to the marketing team and production and what other else departments are in the restaurant business. And they got in the lab and they made some changes. Because like I mentioned before, I went down to Red Lobster. I went over down there and I got the crab bowl, the seafood bowl. Gave it a 6.7 or 6.8 out of 10. Okay. Hey, that's what I gave it. But this what the CEO of Red Lobster this what he got on social media and said, because he heard what y'all was talking about. He saw the reviews. Keith Lee and then he even went down to the Red Lobster. This is what the CEO said.
Hello, Lobster Nation. Damola here. We dropped our new seafood boils, and you guys really, really, really showed up. We appreciate all the love and all the excitement. Also, we heard you in the comments. You want even more heat, you want even more flavors. So we're turning it up with your choice of original, spicy, and extra spicy. Me, I'm going with the extra spicy and adding a new flavor as well, Old Bay and Parmesan. Want to add sausage? We've got you. You can do it all now at Red Lobster. And finally, shout out to the teams, our servers, managers, chefs, and operators who were able to make all of these changes happen in just 1 week. Stay hungry, keep commenting, and we'll keep cracking.
So just so y'all know, in case you ain't been to any spot, the seafood boil spots, the flavor levels are standard. Okay, at Red Lobster they just had one. They had one level, but the tiered, like that mild, medium, spicy, extra spicy, all of that is usually standard at those restaurants. I did. Let me say, mentioned the Old Bay and Parmesan. I originally asked for that first, but they gave me the wrong bag. They gave me the shrimp and sausage only bag. So I did taste that sauce, and I'm warning y'all, it's creamy. It is not like a buttery, like a garlic, but like that garlic butter sauce. It'd be, but no, it's creamy. And so when I sent that first bag back because they had the wrong type of seafood, I was like, just give me the other Old Bay seasoning, the regular Old Bay, because I didn't know if that creamy was gonna be too dairy. And y'all know I'm lactose. Okay, I can't. Hey, I don't know what's in this. It looked like it just was a little too much cream. I don't be doing all that cream. But I did taste it, and if that texture and that like creamy thing is for you, try it. But it sounded like the brother was listening to the feedback. He ain't mentioned the sangria floats now, because I went in, I thought they was gonna have the sangria. I ain't see him, but the brother down at the Red Lobster, he heard the thing, which you have to commend, because most times people be complaining or giving feedback online. Child, they don't care. Them businesses don't care. They do not care. But the Black Millennial CEO, he said, hey, brother and sister in Christ, I give a damn. So again, I encourage y'all to go down there if y'all feel like it. If that's one of the only seafood options in your community, or if you want to spend the big bucks, because it's not cheap. Them boiled bags are not cheap, especially the one with the lobster tail. That thing was not cheap. Now, it wasn't like super expensive, but some people, I know when I think of Red Lobster, I don't think of it as a super expensive seafood restaurant. I think of it as more affordable. that is probably one of the more pricier items on the menu. So purchase it at your own risk. But that's it for this. I just want to let y'all know that he heard what I had said down to the Black News. Let me know if you had a chance to try it, though. You can find me at Canelia on social media. So I want to give a quick update on one of the topics that we talked about in previous weeks regarding Essence Festival, especially as it relates to Target, right? We talked about how there was a lot of backlash because Target was one of the main sponsors for Essence Festival this past year. And I know I mentioned something to the effect of I feel like there must have been a contract in place that you couldn't get out of, because usually if there is a sponsorship type or activation or any deal like that, it's usually for multiple years and it costs to break those. It is not easy to just get up out of that unless you're going to come out the pocket. So I thought on the podcast, I said, I wonder if that was the case. Okay. So, and I'm going to pronounce this man's name wrong. I apologize, but I believe he runs Essence Festival. His name is Richelieu Dennis. He was on the Breakfast Club, which I don't really watch much anymore, but the clip was going around and I was like, oh, hey, he's talking about this. Let me play this. So I'm going to play a couple of clips and I'm going to speed up the playback speed because y'all, it's long. But I at least want to play some of it to offer some context about what he said about the reason why that Target was still allowed to come to Essence Festival, given the fact that as the Black community, a lot of us are boycotting Target. So this is what he was talking about.
Target, I totally get you need Target's dollars to even do this event. You don't have to explain that. Okay. But was that a tough decision, being that the Jamal Bryants, the Tamika Mallory's, the Nina Turners have staged this boycott against Target that a lot of people are participating in?
Yeah, so those are always difficult decisions, right? And this wasn't a, hey, we decided to go with Target against the boycott, or hey, we decided to go with the boycott against Target, right? You've got to remember what our value proposition is to this community, and that is to help them build their businesses and to help them build the infrastructure that supports their business, right? We build the infrastructure, they build their businesses. So it wasn't a decision around here's this boycott that we want to go against, or here's this retail partner that we want to support, right? It was the decision, first of all, was we already had a contract, right? Prior to all of this, 4 years now. And they've been good partners, right? They've done what they've told us they were going to do. And even not recently at Festival, Brian Cornell, their CEO, came on the ground. He's like, look, I want to see the people. I want to talk to the people. I want to understand. But he also shared that we haven't stopped doing the things that we had committed to. We're going to complete. We've made a $2 billion commitment.
That was to who? To the Black community. But isn't that the whole point? The whole point of the protest is that because they rolled back the DEI initiatives, but they haven't, done those things, from what I've been told.
No. So what he shared was that they actually never stopped those things, right? Their $2 billion commitment, he said that they are going to complete that $2 billion commitment by the end of this year.
They just can't label it DEI because they're scared of Trump.
I'm not going to get into the politics of it. But what I will say is that they've committed to and have exercised. And from what I've been able to see, they have done what they said they would. Certainly with the businesses that are in their retail environment, which is where I think the bulk of those dollars go anyway. But that's not for me to answer, right? What I can say though is that they have shown me and provided evidence that they've continued those programs. They've continued their HBCU program and the scholarships. They've continued their dollar commitments, right? So for our decision making was based on the economic impact or the inadvertent economic impact that we're seeing in the Black businesses. So if that convention center didn't happen, there's 200 vendors that would have lost their income for that weekend, right? Which, as I said earlier, for some of them is the bulk of their income. There are there are brands that have been preparing all year to have a showcase to get retail distribution, right? So there's other retailers that come there because we also have a program through the New Voices Foundation that trains up our vendors to be ready to go into retail. So that's the other thing that we do. We have almost 30,000 Black businesses on our platform and women-owned businesses on our platform that we're providing developmental services to every day and also at the festival, right? So that's everything from preparedness to go into retail to business planning, supply chain development, all the things that it takes to that. So we've also then, as a result of that, really curated the so-called market, so that when our guests come in, they're getting the best of the best, and that when retail partners come in, they're
He continues on. He even mentioned at one point how some of the other large sponsors pulled out. Like Ford wasn't a sponsor this past year, and that does impact things. But this is what I kind of want to remind people of, right? What he said, okay, great. But from a Target CEO perspective, when he said the Target CEO was there on the ground, wanted to meet the people and see and be there. If as the CEO of an organization, and I'm no CEO, okay, I'm just a person who used to go to Target every week. I feel like it would speak louder or be more affirming is if, as a corporation, when you saw the boycotts happening and you saw the conversations within the Black community about people no longer shopping at your stores and you saw shares falling and profits dropping and you saw all of this happening, it to me would have made more sense instead of hoping that Black people found out that you still kept the $2 billion commitment to the Black community that was going to continue out and wrap up at the end of this year. Instead of us just magically figuring that out, it would have been nice to make that announcement or that statement when you learned that the boycott was happening, because it seems like there was no interest, no um no gateway or no path to making that known. It was like, oh, we DEI, we scared of the White House, we scared of all these people of the backlash of being caught supporting diversity, equity, inclusion. Let's make the public know or feel like, at least feel like, or give them an impression that we are abandoning DEI. And when they get mad, shoulder shrug, we don't care. That's what it felt like. Which to me, I'm not necessarily mad at that because I'm happy they showed us their stance. You showed us that you were afraid of scrutiny from whatever direction and that you were willing to basically X all of the Black business owners, the small business owners, the minority business owners, the women of color, people of color business owners who had stuff in your stores. You were ready to give them the middle finger just to avoid y'all being cussed out or ridiculed on Truth Social. That's what it seemed like. And if that's what they felt like they had to do, then guess what? Now you're getting boycotted. Like, don't nobody care who's walking around the convention center trying to see the people. Don't know I don't know what that's supposed to do. What is that going to do? I do recognize that they're trying to infiltrate the boycott in different ways. We saw that when I talked about the festival on Black News a few weeks ago, where they were targeting or getting influencers to go on behalf of their organization, their company, to Essence Festival, do activation, social media posts, and all of that. So they are trying to infiltrate. And it's working to an extent, but I want to remind people one more time: everybody wasn't bus boycotting. It's gonna be some people who was on that bus. Some people who were like, my ancestors would no, them was your ancestors on that bus. Okay, talking about I ain't gonna walk. I can't walk to work. I'm gonna ride the bus. So, hey, it is what it is. But I just wanted to circle that back to close the loop, but to also, yeah, I don't really want to hear about nobody at the convention center walking around wanting to see the people. That baby, what's that gonna do? Get out of here, okay? But let me know your thoughts about it. Yeah, let me know what you thought, and if you watched the full Breakfast Club interview, because again, there was a lot more a part of that discussion. But yeah, let me know. You can find me at Canelia on social media. On this week's episode of Black News, we talked about the Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated and Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated honorary members. We also talked about the Black Emmy Award nominees that were announced this year for 2025. And lastly, gave two quick updates. One regarding the CEO of Red Lobster, hearing what we were talking about on social media, and also the person behind Essence Festival clearing the air about the Target boycott and their sponsorship at this year's Essence Festival. Hit me up. Let me know your thoughts about all of these topics, some or none, and I'll check back with you guys next time. That's it for this week's episode of Black News, y'all. Thanks again for supporting the podcast by sharing, liking, subscribing, and rating 5 stars on your favorite podcast app. To find more information about me, you can check me out at Canelia on social media, as well as on my website, which is canelia.com. And as always, thanks for supporting, and I'll be back next week with new topics and a new episode.